I never did know where the people went when a town was under fire, but they disappeared completely. There were very few stores open and most had nothing to sell. I was looking for anything I could afford to buy that I might send home as a gift to let them know I was still okay. While walking down this barren street, all at once I noticed this beautiful doll sitting in a window.
In 1942, Karen Hall's father, Ronald Earl Snow, was drafted to serve in the Army during World War II when Karen was just 7 months old. During his time in the war, Earl would send home gifts from the different countries he was sent in order to keep in touch with his family.
Off and on, he would, if he would see something and had the money, he would buy something and send it to Mom.
But there was one gift in particular he bought just for Karen.
This doll's name is Suzette. My mother and I were living in Princeton, Minnesota with her parents. And I remember the day she came, and she was in a wooden crate, and my grandpa had to use a crowbar to open it. And when she opened it, somebody behind me said, "Oh, her cheek is cracked," and there's a little bitty crack on this side. And I wouldn't ever have it fixed because it's a memory for me. This picture, my mom had taken after I got the doll. And she mailed a photo of us to Dad showing that we had received the doll.
For as miraculous as it was for young Karen to receive this gift from her father overseas, it was an unlikely story that had led him to come into possession of the doll.
He was in supply depot, so one day in Belgium, they were told to pack everything up and to get ready to move to where the troops were moving to. They were all packed and ready to go, and they were told there was a delay. And so their officers decided they had to keep them busy. And they did a marching drill, and then they did a rifle drill, and my dad won. And he was able to walk into this little town, and the town was all pretty much bombed. There were very few people on the streets, but this doll was in the window of a store. I just love her. I love her when I see her. I want her to be where I can see her all the time. I mean, it just meant that my father, who at age 3, I don't even know what I knew about my father, Although my mom, I know there was a picture of him beside my crib, and Mother would have me kiss the picture to good night. So I knew, I didn't know what a dad was, I suppose, but.
It was one of the most dad things.
Yeah, buy your doll, yeah. Years later, then he typed up how he happened to get her. And that's pretty much what I told you, that he got to go into town. But he told some other things about being in the war. It's a little faded. But let's see, he did this in 1987. And he wasn't a real good typist, but it's the way he did it.
After her father came home, Karen's family grew into a long line of military veterans, a perfect place for this doll to be kept for years to come.
My dad and my husband, and then 2 of my sons. One was in the National Guard and one was in the Army. And a grandson who was in Afghanistan. Yeah, I've been trying to decide, but I have my grandson that was in Afghanistan has a 6-year-old daughter, and I'm thinking she should get it because that's the family that would appreciate the fact that it was a war.